Okay, something happened. So, haha, there I am. Good times. Okay. Okay, great. So we have picture on YouTube, we have picture on Instagram, and we also have picture on Instagram, on Twitch. Okay. Great, 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 and even greater. So now I should be able to see all of the comments on Twitch, on Instagram, and also on YouTube. Perfect. Okay, great. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you, friends, for joining. Today is the Fund Your Vision Day. So, Mondays are typically going to be the Fund Your Vision. Of course, that's I say typically because it can change depending upon if I'm on a job or I have family stuff to take care of and stuff like that. And so, make sure you have joined the Discord if you want to be a part of this. I'll be putting that out there every single day. My Discord link is in the description, I believe. If not, just ping me. And you should have, I mean, I should have a chat alert, but I don't know if the chat works on um, all of the different platforms. So we'll see. But I got the main troubleshooting bit done. Now I got to figure out TikTok as well because I want to go live there. So Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch. Those are the channels that I'm using for building this. But basically, the Funding Your Vision Mondays are for, excuse me, if you have a creative idea that you're trying to fund, like in my case, I'm trying to raise some funds for the one short a month, even for the bigger series that I have that I do have investors for. And then, of course, just some financial things as well. If you work in film and TV, you know how up and down that industry can be. And so, one of the things that's really important to me is to kind of fill in the gaps between contracts because I have good contracts and I'm working on some really big stuff, but there are still gaps where there is no money coming in. So what do? Do you just hope and pray and hope for the best, or try and chase everybody down, and you get no after no? What do? You still got to make money because you got bills to pay, you got to eat, you got to do all these things, and so that's what I'm doing here. So the past couple, I want to say the past year, I've been really trying to understand and get locked in with the day trading stuff that we're going to talk about in a bit. We are going to talk about in the Fund Your Vision series, talking about budgets, how to raise the money on from an investor standpoint, and things like of that nature. But today, because I'm personally trading Asia tonight, I figured let's just do it live in real time. Yo, what up, Lex? Appreciate you being here. Um, so one of the most important things for me right now is to stop trading sim. I've been trading sim for a long time, either between the evals that I was doing on Apex or just just on my own, and I've made I've made good money. I can show you some of the screenshots of things of the accounts where it was like five figures, and I'm just like, well, this is stupid. I want to make this for real. And so my trading mentor was like, dude, you got to stop doing this. You obviously know what you're doing. So stop being ridiculous. Kick yourself in the face, kick yourself in the butt, whatever you have to do, and start trading live. And so the account that you see here is a live account. Um, and so all of the money that I make is going towards, I was, like I said, the paying for the films that I want to do, paying for life, just things, paying for things really. So I have to be very careful with how I trade this because it is actual real money. And I think that's one of the biggest fears that I had that I'm still trying to overcome because like my win percentage is super high. I'll show you in a second. It's super high. But you would think, okay, well, if your win percentage is super high, you must be rolling in the money with this trading stuff. And the thing is, it's like I could be, but I sometimes I panic trade. Sometimes I close winners way too soon. And so I'm like, I gotta overcome this fear of one, losing, because I don't want to mess up my 100% or 90% win rate, but also losing the actual money because this is real money. So, what I'm going to do is head over to the charts and we'll talk about what it is. And if you know nothing about trading, uh, I can show you the basics, but I definitely highly recommend jumping into a trading course. I can recommend one if you're interested. I'll drop that in the chat. Um, but it's super important to get a trading mentor that one knows what he or she is doing, and then two um, can help you to fill in the gaps in your own knowledge because that's what was happening to me. There was a lot of things where I was good at guessing. I was, like when I first started, I was like 50-50. I'd have a really big trade, then I'd lose it all. Really good trade, then lose it. And so I wasn't growing. I was kind of staying put. I was kind of treading water. And, it got to a point where like I was like, okay, I got to figure this out. I got to do something because my P&L is not moving the way that I need it to. And so I jumped into the class that I mentioned earlier. And like I said, I'm being not necessarily vague, but I'm not articulating what class that is because I'm not an affiliate. And so I'll answer that if you ask me. But I don't want anybody to think I'm just saying this because I'm going to get paid to do so. Oh, I guess in that case, I may as well. cktraderpro.com. I'm not getting paid for that, so but definitely check it out. I've learned a lot from that community, and so I highly recommend it. But anyway, let's jump into the charts. If you want to see my TA, let me know because right now you'll just see my Ninja Trader chart. Um, but I can show you the TA as I go through it. Um, so why don't we do that? Because right now, yeah, you'll just see my Ninja Trader. So let me fix that real quick. Stand by, gang. All right, so let's desktop, and then all right. So you should be able to see most of my desktop. This is on TradingView, and so you'll see a whole lot of funky stuff on here. And so for those that don't know, I'm using TradingView. I'm using the premium account. You can't see that, but it's the premium account. That way I can add the indicators that I need. Um, and It kind of goes from there. So I always start on the daily chart. Let me hide this GAC because we don't need any of that right now. Oh, also, let me put my blue blocker glasses on. There we go. Because since I am looking at a screen for a long time, I highly recommend these. If the glare is getting too crazy, like right now it's kind of glaring because of my key light here, I might take them off, but we'll see how it goes. But anyway, I always start, always, always, always start on the daily chart when I'm coming into a new session. Because I just need to see where I am. Yo, he think he's slick. Oh, yo, what up, Ricky? I'm glad you're here, my friend. This is cool. Appreciate you being here. So yeah, I start on the daily chart, and the reason for that is I need to see where I am. So looking at this is yesterday's candle, this is today. So we are opening up bearish. But we are at the top of the previous day. So we're internal because we haven't broken this high right here. And so, yo, what it do? Yo, I'm over here just trying to make some money, man. What are you doing? I figured I'd hop on here and share the journey of a day trader slash film and TV director slash producer. A lot of hats, but we got to make it. We got to keep it moving, right? So this is the most important thing. But yeah, so let me go back here so I can make sure I don't miss any. Yo, what up, Sharon? Sorry you're late. Nah, it's all good. I had some technical difficulties earlier, and so you're actually right on time. I'm just now getting started. And so I'm trading the Asia session, which is inherently slow. I'll be straight up. A lot of the quick moving, like I don't know if anybody has seen where like somebody's like, oh, I made $14,000 in 5 minutes. Yeah, it's possible for sure. But during Asia, more than likely that's not going to happen just because it moves so slowly. But let's get back into the TA so I can see what's going on. So like I said, this is yesterday's candle or earlier today, Monday. And this is how it's opening now. So it is bearish because it's red, opening from north to south. Uh, and then also we are internal to this candle here. So it opened in this upper range. And so that tells me that it still wants to be bear. I'm sorry, still wants to be bull. Like it wants to push up. But we have to mitigate some of this liquidity that's underneath us here. And so I have to ask myself, what is it going after? Because you can see here with the shadow above and below, we're getting a lot of manipulation on both sides. It doesn't know which way it wants to go. And so right now, for me, I don't want to take a trade. One, I'm on a daily chart. It's just too, this would take forever for one thing. And then also, I don't have enough information yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark out the previous day's high and the previous day's low. That way, it at least gives me a range. Boom. So the previous day high is way up here. So actually interesting, it almost mitigated this entire block. But you can see it rejected here. That's interesting. Interesting to me. But I'll get into the reasoning why later. Okay, and then there's the previous day's low here. So, okay. And then I'll mark out the previous day. You don't necessarily have to do that. That's just extra. I do that just because it helps me to again see, is price continuing to move up? Is it going down? What is it doing? Um, Gotta find it though. There it is. It's in there somewhere. All right, so there's my. There we go. So the previous day high is, oh, that's New York. I'll fix that in a second. Where's my previous day? Oh, it's right there. Hard to see with these glasses on in this light. All right, so there's the previous day high, and then we'll do the same thing for the low. And so again, the whole point of doing this is to really just mark out the range that we've played in. Previous lows down here. And that gives me an idea of where price could potentially go. Or like if it gets close to these levels, is it going to test and hold, or is it going to blast right through it? So those are the question marks that I have right now. I don't know. My bias right now is bear just because of how we're opening up. But are we going to accumulate right now? Possibly. Don't know yet because looking at the full range between the days, we possibly could be getting into some accumulation again because a, we went down here, we sold, we accumulated for a bit, and then we started to come up. And now we're starting to teeter a little bit in this area. And so this looks like a little bit of accumulation to me. But again, I don't have enough information because I don't have enough candles for this block. Wow. The 15 seconds going nuts. All right, so with that being said, let's drop down to the 4 hour. And so I always go from top to bottom. So high time frame down to lower time frame. And again, the whole idea is just to get an idea of what's happening on the big scale so I can understand what's happening on the smaller scale. Because, like, for example, I don't know if you've done any trading yourself, but I'm sure if you have, you've heard the phrase the trend is your friend, right? And so I don't want to take a trade that goes against the trend because at the end of the day, I don't have enough money to push the wave. Like the way that it was explained to me was no matter how much water you have, you're never going to overflow the ocean, right? Your job, you're never going to fight against the waves. You just got to ride them, right? And so it's the same thing with trading, with these institutions having a mega butt ton of money to be able to put into the market. My little one or two contracts is not gonna it's like a booger on them. It's nothing. It's a nothing burger. And so at the end of the day, my job is to ride with them as opposed to, trying to go against them. Because when you go against them, you will lose flat out. And we don't want to lose. We want to win. We want to make money, not lose it. So the goal is to look at the 4 hour. What's happening? Are we still, does that bearish sentiment that we had really still play out? Well, I also said it looks a little accumulatory, right? Look at this candle here, this current candle at 6 p.m. It's hard to say um, because we're getting this wick on top and bottom. All right. We're getting this cross, which is ironic that we're right after Resurrection Day, right? We get a cross. Um, but jokes aside, this is telling me stay out because right now there's no decision. There's no real um, there's no real direction right now. We're getting a bunch of up and down, back and forth, and the market doesn't understand or doesn't it hasn't made up his mind. It hasn't created that handshake of like, yes, I'm gonna go, in the certain direction that I'm gonna go. So right now, our job is to figure out which way do they want to go, and so I turned off all of my indicators. My goal is to actually trade without the indicators if I can. Jeremy HD, what's up? Thanks for joining. Um, so right now I don't have enough information, but again, just using what I'm looking at, we look even on this 4 hour. Where's my box? We look accumulatory. You see how we're just kind of staying in the same range here. Let me make this yellow, right? So I don't have any information to trade. And yes, this is a wide range, and you could make money on this on either one of these candles, quite possible. But with this 4 hour chart right now, I don't have enough information. I really don't. So I'm still in a holding pattern. I don't want to buy yet. I don't want to sell yet. I don't want to do anything. I just want to stay out because sometimes the best trade is no trade. All right. All right. Cool. So I'm gonna kill this right now. All right. So let's look through these candles and what is it telling us. So 2 p.m., 10 a.m. So this 10 a.m. candle, this red candle, this big red one right here, this is kind of the big one right now because right now we are, if we split it in two or in half basically, we are just barely in the upper quadrant of this candle. And so that tells me, oop, we just dropped below. So that tells me that we are potentially moving up. I say potentially because, as you just saw, it's pushing down. But we're getting a level of demand here or a level of support. You can hear it either way, demand or support. And what's it called? And so is this level holding? This was I don't know if you can see it. It's a very small blue line. I'll make it bigger. All right. So this was yesterday's Asia high. And you can see that I mark it. And so the thing about marking all of these different sessions and is that again, these are levels that the institutions, the market makers is what I'll call them, that's the levels that they want to hit or protect. So you can see right now, this is from yesterday, from last night, they are trying to either breach this and continue this downward, or it's going to hold and keep propelling us north. I don't know yet, but I'm starting to formulate a thesis at the moment. My thesis is we want to push down a little bit lower and test this level here, this 2463 level that I have marked, or this New York high. I got to fix that because New York already happened this morning. So that's one thesis. Let me just draw. Where's the path tool? Here we go. So one thesis is this will break, retest, and then come down here. Oop. And then come out here. My other thesis is that this will hold. So we're here, hold, and then continue up to here. So we'll see which one plays out. We don't know yet, but we're starting to create a thesis. But again, with us having a shadow above and below us, it's kind of hard to tell right now. Let me get rid of these. All right, so let's drop down to the 1 hour. Because again, I told you we were in accumulation and boom, look at that. Do you see this? This is exactly what it is. The market is sideways. And so, generally speaking, especially if you are relatively new, I suggest staying out of it. This is where I would usually get wrecked. Remember how I was saying I was 50-50? I didn't recognize that this was an accumulation zone. And so I'd be like, why am I losing? It's supposed to be going up, but it's going down. Why? And then I hop in the opposite way. Why am I going? Why is it, why am I losing if it was just now going down or whatever, you know? And the reason why is because we're accumulating. And all accumulation is they're trying to find the best price to send it up or down. Um, and so what I'm looking for now in order to get to the trade, because that's the other thing too, we never want to just chase a trade. We want the trade to come to us. We want to be a magnet, being like, okay, these are the 6 or 7 steps that I checked off to be able to say, yep, that's what I want. And then boom, take the trade. Because then you're not reacting to anything, you're anticipating it, you're waiting for it. And so right now, um, that's what we're doing. We're trying to set up the trade. We're trying to figure out exactly what it is that we're looking for in order to take the trade. And so again, we don't have enough information yet because we're still accumulatory. But I will say I'm expecting some kind of manipulation move up or down. I don't know yet. And so how do we find out? So before I answer that question, let me go to this chart so I can, oops, get out of here. So I can fix my levels real quick. Because even though this indicator does map it out pretty well, it is still manual. Well, let me rephrase. It's not manual in the sense where it'll redraw every single session, but the lines that I have drawn, these ones that you see me moving, and I do that because I don't have this session profile on every single chart because as you can see, it can get real messy real quick. And so I try and separate uh, the information on different tabs. And that's one of the benefits of having the what's it called? The premium level of TradingView because it gives you more tabs that you can play with. And I don't know if they still do, but they just had an Easter sale where you get 80% off. So I highly recommend getting if you're interested in doing this, getting this when they have a sale. I got mine during Black Friday last year, and so it was a crazy discount. So whenever you can, whenever possible, get yourself a discount because trading can be incredibly expensive to pay for all these tools and stuff like that. I keep looking over here like my camera's there, but my camera's right here. Sorry, guys. I'll get better. Like I used to be on camera before. I should be better than this. Not, but real talk. Um, the last thing that you want to do is spend a mega butt ton of money just getting your tools and then not be able to use them because you're learning. One of the things that it took me a long time, let me bring this back down to one. It took me a long time before I actually got to the premium account because, like I said before, I was trading sim and I didn't want to spend all this money to get the tools. And meanwhile, I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm not even making any money. And so, uh, as you're learning, I highly recommend. Where's my New York low? New York AM low. As you're learning, I highly recommend there's New York PM. Just learning with as much free stuff as you possibly can. That's the key because this stuff will add up real quick. All right, so there it is. That's my PPDH. New York. It's in here somewhere. I'll find it. There it is. Way down there. Okay, so let me fix this and then my levels will be set. And then we can start looking at other things to get us where we need to go. Okay, cool. And again, guys, if you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat and I'll answer them as I can. But again, I'm not a teacher. I'm learning this along with everybody else, and so I have learned some things and I've done relatively decently. And I say relatively because I haven't met the numbers that I want to make that I've made in my sim trades. I have not made that in my live. And so while my consistency, I'm sorry, my profit, my win percentage is better in my live account, the actual dollar amount is better in my sim. And so I'm trying to marry because I'm much more conservative in my sim account than I am with real money because obviously I don't want to risk as much money. So I'm trying to bridge that gap between what I'm making in sim, and I say making because it's fake money. I'm not making a single cent to what I'm making in the real live account. Okay, I digress. Let's go back to our daily chart. So we're here on the 1 hour. Like I said, we are accumulatory. So what do I want to do now? So one of the things that's super important is where is my premium and discount zones? For anybody that doesn't understand that, basically, premium is the highest you want to sell it at. Because think about it like this. If I'm buying something, I want to buy it for the cheapest amount, right? So the example that I used when I was helping my nephew out was buying a PlayStation. So when it first came out, it was like 500 bucks or something like that. But then it sold out. And so what did that do? That drove the price up because the demand was high, but the supply was low. And so the more scarce something is, the more it's going to cost. And so people were paying 600, 700, 800 bucks for the PlayStation. And so if you had sold, I mean, if you had bought it at 500 bucks and then you sold it at 800, you just made a $300 profit, right? And so the same idea, that's exactly what trading is. This literally that kind of example. So I'm looking for my discount zone if I'm going to buy, and I'm looking for my premium zone if I'm going to sell. Anything else in the middle, I don't like to diddle. You know, that's literally the phrase that the teacher uses in that CK Trader Pro what do you call it, community that I mentioned earlier. He's like, I don't like to diddle in the middle, and it just stuck with me because it's a funny phrase. But so looking at with what we have, because I don't know where the manipulation is going to be just yet, because I haven't done all of the analytics, but just looking at this range here, the box that we drew. I don't know if you can see it on the screen because especially if you're on mobile, it might be a little small. But in the middle here is a 0.5. So that literally is the middle of this range. And everything above it is premium, everything below is discount. So if price respects this line and starts to head down, we are heading towards discount. And so, based off of the range that we have, we might think about selling here because we just took out the what is this, Monday at 1 o'clock. It took out the London low here. Again, I don't know if you can see that, so I'll make it bigger. So there's the London low. So this 1 o'clock candle took it out and then poop, popped it up. But then it came here and tried to test the London high. And now we've been stuck in this zone pretty much ever since. Like it broke it this morning, but then it just came back down. And so we are right in this range of London high and low. So it stands to reason that we should be able to test the New York low and the New York high. So maybe where is that? So we got Asia low below us, New York PM high above us, but still within the range of the London. And then New York PM is below us. So we may go and retest. Here's New York low, New York PM low, right here, this purple line. So we may go and see, we may go and test this level. And so with us again, here we are heading out of premium into discount. So more than likely, forget this line. This is not the actual entry. That was from another day. We may try and test these levels down here. Got the point of control. I got to go and check that because that's might be old. And then previous day high, and then a New York PM low. So all of these things. Vanessa, what up? What up, my friend? Glad to see you here. So, um, so yeah, there is definitely levels for us to go and check out. And yes, there are proper trading terms to use. Like I should have said, there are levels to mitigate, but I'll use the proper terms if you really want me to. All right. So so let's see what we got. So on the 1 hour, we are heading towards discount. Let's check and see what our volume is doing. Okay. So this is the variable volume profile. And so basically this will allow us to change the volume profile based off of what time frame we're on. So you'll see here, I don't know if you can see it on the Instagram. If you can't see it on Instagram, it's on the far right. So let me know. Like you should be able to see. Yeah, you should be able to see it. But like this gack of nonsense, this is your volume profile. And so I'm just looking to see what is the configuration of buy, which is the green, versus sell orders. So at this level here, where we kind of currently are, there's a whole lot more sell orders than there are buy. So that's going back to what I was saying earlier with our previous read. This is on the 4 hour though. From the higher time frame, we said that we were bearish, right? And so that gives me a lot of confluence. Same deal here on the 1 hour. A lot more red than there is green. And so it makes sense that we're starting to drop. We're starting to see this level of demand. And so, I'm sorry, not demand, but supply. I always get those backwards. But supply is your resistance, demand is your support. So let's drop down to the 5 minute, see what's happening right now. Okay. So, yeah. So we are in discount. We're heading, so we're at this level here. So my guess is that we're going to head to this level down here. Let me mark that up. Uh-oh. Mark that in white. Oh, and look at that. It lines up here with this previous level of demand. And this is where we started to see that rejection. And this is granted on the 5 minute, but it came down here once and then shot up. So let's see if it happens again, where it comes down and shoots back up. So now I'm starting to think, okay, is this the level where we can buy? Because like right now, I don't want to buy because we're heading into discount and it's too expensive to buy. Meaning I could have bought it lower and gotten more money for it, basically. So I'm waiting for this level to hit here. So this is 20 or 296. We're at 308. So we have about $10 to go before it gets there. And will we get there? I don't know. We'll see. But I'm starting to get an idea of, okay, this could potentially be a thing. So, especially when we start to look at the configuration of, let me turn this off, of this. So, here we go. So, we're in this channel here, and I probably can draw that a little better. But essentially, this is a bear flag. I'm sorry, a bull flag. And so a bull flag is a configuration that looks like this, and we should shoot up. This is on a lower time frame, so let's see if it plays through or not. Or if we get to this level and it breaches it. So what I'm waiting for now, I have two ideas. So what I'm waiting for now is draw this. So we come down here and we test through this level here. We actually breach it. We come back up and test it, and we keep going south. That's one thesis. The other thesis is that we come in here. Oh, looks like we tap. We got a halfway fill, and it starts to reject. So I don't even have time to draw this because it's already happening. Get out of here. Okay, so, all right, so is this going to hold? That's the question that I have. It looks like it wants to. And so let's go over here. All right, we got one tap here, one green bubble, and then another one is possibly forming. But I have to wait because it's not been confirmed yet. But it looks like it wants. You see that jump, that spike? It looks like it wants to jump up. Ooh, not that many. I only want to do one. Okay. So is this level going to hold as demand or is it going to flip to supply? That's the question that I have right now. And the crazy part is the crazy part right now. As I'm getting closer to making a trade, I need to have my heart rate on here because my heart rate is starting to jump a little bit. And it's not because I'm scared of taking the trade. It's just that I'm like, ooh, the anticipation is coming. And I don't know if it's anxiety or what, or if it's just anticipation, but I can feel my heart rate starting to spike. It is so funny. I remember my sister being like, "Hey, bro, I'm getting notifications because she's connected to my health app because she's a doctor, and so whenever something is out of the ordinary, it'll flag the people that I've chosen. So she's like, "Hey, I saw that you're sitting down, but your heart rate is like at 120. What's up? Are you trading?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm trading right now." And so that's something else that I have to work on where it's just like this stuff doesn't really affect me. And so uh again, this is a whole process that I'm working on. But um haven't taken a trade yet. I'm still accumulating at this level. So we had our drop here and then now we're accumulating. Let's see what's happening on this page. Ooh, look at that big drop. Okay. So you should be able to see. All right. So we are just about to switch. Yep. About to switch phases. So we just had some accumulation. I'm sorry, some manipulation to the south. And then I expect distribution to the north. So let's see if I'm right. 296 is my entry. Um, but we have, all right. Yep. I'm going to enter that trade. All right. I'm in it. We have some ways to go, but, and I don't know if you can see my P&L on the other side, but especially on Instagram, because I know I have a very truncated thing. But okay, so we're moving. I'm targeting 324. So we're at 306. Come on, get past this level. You know you want it. Okay. And so this is also where I tend to like close trades too soon because it starts to go against me and stuff like that. And I'm just like, ooh, I'm freaking out. But um, what I did was I dropped down to the smallest contract size available so that it gives me, I have a lot of room to play. And um, I'm also trying to be super conservative just because I am one, doing this live with you, and then two, I'm talking as I'm trading because usually I'm either by myself or I'm in class. Excuse me. And so one of the things that my mentor said to me was to do your TA, and then sit on your hands. Like right now, it's going against me. And so I'm just like, oh, snap. Did I jump in too soon? Am I, am I wrong? Is the market going against me? Stuff like that. Those are the thoughts that are going into my brain. But in the same breath, I'm like, okay, I have to trust what it is that we all went through. We said that we were in discount. We said that we were expecting some kind of level of pullback to the northern side. I don't know if I said that, but that's what I was thinking. Um, and so I'm definitely trying to trust my read, and that's why I'm doing this live for one thing, but also I'm doing this so that you guys can keep me accountable as well. Because the only way that I'm really going to get to the next level, and honestly, anybody that's doing this for themselves is going to get it, is to learn how to have confidence in what you see. And also, I don't know if you noticed, but I don't have a stop or a target on. I'm doing all of that manually. And again, one of the reasons why I took that off is because I was um, too reliant on the ATM, and it was stopping me out too soon. And so, oh, come on, get past that level. You know you want it. Okay. So, okay. So my target is here. And then, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start trailing this a bit because I am in the profit. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Keep going. Keep going. And so you see me moving this entry line. I'm doing this again manually just to keep myself, one, patient, two, um, gives me an area of, okay, so it just crossed my line, so I stopped out. I could have stayed in, because I only netted 12 bucks on that, but it's still 12 bucks in my pocket that I can go and spend. Good for me. And I do have fees and stuff like that, but the point is, um, if this were um, if this were not Asia, generally speaking, it would be moving a lot faster because there's a lot more volume. You can see here on this chart here that, let me make this bigger. There we go. You can see that, you see this yellow line here? This is uh, a line that I like to be above, like here. Like these are big. That means the institutions are playing. I call it audience participation. Coming from my stage days, because that's where we want to play. And so, um, but all of this stuff underneath there, that's all retail, like me and you. And at this level, it's just like, it's going slowly moving. But I could have stayed in that trade. And this is what I'm working on, where I could have stayed in longer. But the thing is, I don't want to be greedy. And again, yes, 12 bucks isn't going to make or break a bill. But, honestly, that is a bill for me. That's taking Nyla and Natalie out to get some ice cream, right? So I'm starting to think about, you know, how can obviously, I want to make more, straight up. I want to be one of the dudes that's out here making, yeah, I made 14K in one trade. Good for me. I'm not there yet, you know. But in the same breath, the trade that I made this morning was about 250 bucks. And that was in the span of 8 seconds. So you do the math. You do enough trades like that, you can do a lot of, you can do a lot of damage to whatever financial goals you have. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to learn how to day trade. Because again, coming from a creative background with like film and TV, there is going to be those peaks and valleys. Like, for example, when I was filming part of my TV series in February, the week that we were filming, I couldn't trade at all. There was just literally no time. But as soon as that week was over, I was back in front of these charts because that job was, well, the job wasn't done, but that block of work was done. And so at the end of the day, um, the the thing for me is I wanted to fill in the gaps. There were just too many holes from contract to contract, job to job, and it was starting to affect me in a negative way. And I don't want that, you know? And so what I'm doing with this day trading, what I'm hoping to inspire others to do is to do this for themselves because it is a way to really, really just solve whatever financial conundrum you find yourself in. And it allows you to go and do other stuff. Again, yes, I'm trading right now in the evening, but this morning when I traded, and made that 250 bucks in a couple of seconds, I was done for the rest of the day. And yeah, there were people in my class that were making, oh my gosh, uh, making like 5,000 and all this other stuff. And again, I want to get there, but oh, I'm I'm not being greedy. I'm just being like, oh, my TA is proving to be right. Because look, we're almost at the target that I set. Let's see if it gets there. Oh, it just did. Boom. So this is ah okay. So this is what I need to do in terms of getting my confidence up. Because this happens way too many times where I mark a level, I get in at basically the perfect entry, and then it hits the target that I set. And granted, it didn't close there, but I don't know if you can see the wick got right there. And there were things, oh, it's tapping on it again. But the point is, the read was solid. And while I tapped out at 12 bucks, this would have been had I taken the full trade that I normally do. So what did I get in? I got in down here, right? Yeah. So, ooh, all right. So get out of here. All right. So that is 96 ticks. So that's roughly 50 bucks with the contract that I'm trading now. If I was trading the full contract, which I normally do, that would have been 500 bucks. So the same trade, the same TA, the only difference is the contract, the contract amount. So in the span of this 1 hour roughly that we've been talking, doing all that TA, because that stuff, that time counts. You're not just sitting here for, the fun of it. And even though the trade may have lasted 8 seconds, you're still doing other stuff in the meantime to get to that trade. But notice what happened. I let the trade come to me. I wasn't just jumping in because it was like, oh, the thing is dropping. Let me just jump in. Nah. I was like, okay, I expect this to happen. And then when this happens, boom, I was in. And so my goal with this, with doing it live, is again to encourage, inspire, and really just be accountable for the stuff that I need to do personally. So in my case, I need to trust my read more. Because granted, yes, I was following the instruction of the class where, moving my line here, this one here, to follow each candle basically, and when it goes against me on this candle to stop out. But I stopped out here on a wick. I need to wait for a close. And the thing is, it's hard to, excuse me, it's hard to manage that. Granted, with Asia, it's a little bit slower, but like if that was New York, ain't no way. As soon as it taps it, I'm out because New York is so volatile. But the point is, my read is solid. And case in point, last night, I took a trade, at like 2 o'clock in the morning because I was trading London. London opens at like 3. And so I was up in front of the charts around 2. just to, go again, do all this TA and even stuff that I didn't even mention in this stream, because there's a lot more stuff that I could, get more nitty gritty and fine tune it. But the uh the read was solid. I got caught in some S&D, some seek and destroy pattern, which is where it just goes up and down, up and down. It's just like trying to trap people, and I got caught in that. But eventually, once it cleared all of that nonsense, at 4 o'clock, 2 hours later, it hit my target again, and that was like a $600 trade, and I didn't get that. I got 22 bucks out of it. I'm so mad at it, but I'm thankful. I have to always temper that frustration with the fact that I'm thankful that I moved the needle a little bit further. A little, 1% is what they say in the class, 1% better. And so, um, that's what my goal is right now. And granted, yes, I could have listened to my mentor, put the trade on, put my hands under my booty, and just sat there and let it do its thing. And so I'm not at that level yet where I can just walk away, even at the contract size where it's like literally 50 cents per tick. And I'm just like, it's still money. And so, yeah, nah, I'm just like, I'll get there. And I'm encouraging everybody else to do that as well. But I'm going to end the session here because we took one good trade, and there are plenty more to be had. Um, but I think for the sake of this live, this is a good place to end it because we did a little bit of TA. We waited for the setup, check. Uh, the setup actually played out, and we hit our target. So those are all of the three things that I look for a successful session. And again, granted, the dollar amount isn't exactly where I wanted it to be, because like my goal is to make my director rate when I'm trading. That way, whether I'm directing, whether I'm sitting in front of this computer, I'm still making the same rate. Um, but not there yet. I'll get there. But if you have any questions, let me know. Just reach out to me on the thing. Uh, you know, any of the channels. I see the messages. The better option is to send me a thing on Discord. And so if you're not a part of my Discord, just reach out to me and send me. I'll send you the link, or you just check the description and it'll be in there. Um, Eventually, I'll have a thing where I can just drop it into the chat and it'll just pop up. But the uh, the most important thing is that you just get in there and you start to learn how to trust what you're seeing, and that's where I'm at. But until next Monday, I will see you possibly tomorrow. Tomorrow we're doing the uh, production 101. That's what it is. So we're going through the project that I'm working on, going through the behind the scenes of how to get it from concept to completion. If you've not been following along, we just filmed block one a few months ago, or yeah, about 2 months ago. And what happens now? That's where we're at. Like, what happens after you film the block? And all right, Sharon, I appreciate you. Have a good one. But yeah, tomorrow will be more about the film stuff. So just to give you a recap, Mondays are all about funding your vision. It's going to be either day trading or it's going to be about like investing or going through the budget and breaking down the script and stuff like that to get you to your number of how much the stuff should actually cost you. And then the other bit, Tuesday or Wednesday, depending upon my schedule. That's why the Discord is so important. So I'll start putting stuff in there. Um, Tuesday or Wednesday, we'll talk about the behind the scenes of how to get the project that you're working on from just an idea to actually getting it out there and doing stuff. And we're going through everything from, you know, even some of the like the producing side of stuff, just negotiating the rates, casting, going location scouting, all of the pieces that have to deal with insurance and all of the other pieces that are the super, I don't want to say boring stuff, but the not so glitz and glamour stuff, so that we can get to go and press the red button and make all the cool, pretty pictures and stuff. And so, yeah, that's what tomorrow or Wednesday will be. I got to check my schedule because it's a little bit different tomorrow. But yeah, definitely join the Discord. Hit me up then, and I'll talk to you then. All right, cool. I'll talk to you later. Peace.